Richard.
We're here reporting for Cardiff Student Media, and we're at Soon Festival 2016. It's its 10th anniversary, and we're so excited to see all the bands playing. Hi, I'm Eleanor Stevens, and I'm here with Cardiff Student Media at Soon 2016, and I'm joined by John Rostrom, the co-founder of Soon Festival itself. How are you doing? How are you going?
I'm going okay. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you for asking. That's really nice. How's the festival going?
It's going well.
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon, so we're like
dying down now.
Yeah. So Friday,
quieting.
big opening event at Tramp Shed Friday, which went really well.
Yeah.
Very full and good sets.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
And then Saturday is always a really busy day, so everybody
busy.
comes out on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was So for us, it's just dealing with all of that, all the busyness.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, everyone's got hangovers and it's a bit more mellow.
No one turns up until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, banging headache. Oh, bless you.
Sorry, guys.
Is there more of a buzz this year because of its 10th anniversary, do you think?
Yeah, I think that it's. I think 10 years is a point that everybody like reflects.
Yeah.
You know, it's however long you've been coming here. There's been a lot of reflection, like what was your first Soon? How many have you been at? When did you first volunteer? You know, I met someone yesterday working for a TV company, and he said, he played the first ever Soon, aged 15.
Really?
And he's working for this TV company now.
15, that's so young.
15, yeah, and he meant to be playing in Club E4 back, but they'd tried to stop him getting in all the time because he was only 15.
Oh no, ID mate. I'm part of the band.
Yeah, so that's really nice because everyone's kind of like coming up and telling you their stories, unprompted really, which is I'm really enjoying that and hearing
how you've like helped people. I can imagine it being quite nice as well.
Yeah, it's really lovely. You know, there's a couple who are here whose first date was at Soon, and they got married. They're married now.
Nice.
One of the guys who's curating the stage today, he had his first date with he met his girlfriend rather at Soon last year.
Amazing.
And like those things are all really sweet.
Yeah. Any babies brought along? Like this was conceived at Soon Festival?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I want to know that. Early on, somebody told me about their first one-night stand that happened at Soon.
Oh my god.
She was like, I just want to say I've had my first one-night stand thanks to your festival. I don't think we were involved in that.
You know what? I feel like there should be a project behind this, like first Soons, because I know that you were doing the music museum.
Yeah.
So maybe next year have a Soon museum of every loads of different stories of people that have experienced different things at Soon Festival.
I'd love
my
that.
first Soon.
Yeah, I'd love it. It touches people in different ways, doesn't it? And and I quite like hearing about that. It could be we have volunteers who work for us. One of the volunteers who's a student actually at Cardiff. She came in to help in the office this week, and she didn't know any of the bands, and she's just interested. She just wanted to help. And then because she was listening to the playlist, she really got into a couple of acts, and then she went to see them yesterday, and is now a fan. And that never would have happened. She's not really into music in that way, so she never would have come across those bands, or she wouldn't have come to the festival.
Yeah.
She was doing it more because a friend had said, "Oh, you should come and help out." And I love that. I love the fact that through that experience she's discovered some new music and.
Yeah. So not only are you really helping bands, but you're sort of helping people enjoy bands and
see the light.
Yeah. Broaden their horizons and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's part of what we're about. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think there's more creative pressure this year, being the 10th year? Do you feel like when you were planning it, do you think, oh God, we're gonna have to really push the boat out this year, curate it to the nth degree, or was it just business as normal?
It was more business as normal. I rejected the idea. Like a lot of people for their birthday, they have a big birthday, don't they? They kind of go to town, and I didn't want to do that because what do you do the following year?
Yeah, you want every year to be special. You don't want it to be only come to the big ones.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that would have happened is that the bigger acts would have drowned out the smaller acts, and the festival is all about the smaller acts.
Yeah.
So for those two reasons, that was really quite easy to reject that idea, and then just make it about what it is always about, but with a bit of have that conversation about being 10.
Yeah.
The music museum came about through that conversation.
I was going to ask, what sort of inspired the music museum? Because it's such a lovely idea.
Well, it was we had a meeting with some people at Cardiff University actually who had
Right.
cross-disciplinary academics, professors and lecturers
Yeah.
who work in all different fields, and they'd got together and had a festivals meeting once, and it had gone very well, and they wanted to do something again, so they invited me in to come, and they basically sat me down and asked me questions for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then on the back of that, they put forward some proposals about different things they'd like to do with the festival this year. And we're doing them. Some of them are some surveys you'll get after the festival, but one of them was the music museum idea that came out of from an archaeologist.
Really? An archaeology student?
A lecturer.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
a lecturer
okay.
in archaeology, and she's really interested in archaeology. You sort of go around, you dig things up, you find objects, and then through those objects you try and uncover stories, don't you? You try and
Yeah.
maybe this person was doing this, or maybe these people moved here because of that reason, and you're trying to work things out. So we kind of thought, well, what if you brought objects in that were music related? So you can bring in a record, but somebody might talk about the record. They might not talk about the music at all. They'll probably talk about it might be like, oh, this is the record that I got when I, fell in love with someone, or this is the record.
Yeah.
This is the record that I was given, that broke my heart, and or this is the record that reminds me of my friend who passed away, and
Yeah.
so all of these things can happen, and the objects themselves are sort of the background, aren't they? Gig tickets and festival tickets.
Yeah.
We all remember the bands, but quite often at festivals or concerts, other things are happening to you. I mean,
Yeah.
in and out of love is a common theme, isn't it?
Yeah.
Meeting friends, forming friendships that really last, and we were interested in all of that. And the
Yeah.
thing that we agreed on is that, music is probably second to air as the one thing that everybody does every day.
Yeah.
So we can hear it in the background now, can't we?
Exactly.
And I don't think there's anything else. I think I can go the whole day without going to the toilet if pushed. So I think breathing, air and music are the only two things I can think of that everybody does, regardless of whether they want to or not, every day. And we wanted to kind of have that as a background and get people to recognise how important music is. And, whether it's majorly important or background music.
I think that makes it so personal as well. Going back to the music museum thing, it sort of ties in really well with the smaller bands because it's so honed in on individual people and the smaller bands and relating to people that wouldn't necessarily come in and see the music and stuff like that. So it makes it way more accessible, I think. And personal. Yeah. Even though there are smaller bands, were there any bands that you booked and you were like, oh yeah, I'm really excited for these, I'm so happy we've booked these guys? I know it's sort of asking for favourites and stuff
there
like
is.
that.
I mean, there's stuff that loads of there's different things for different ways, Kate Le Bon probably played our first festival, I think. We did a lot of shows with Kate.
Yeah, she's excellent.
In the early days when she was just, she was a local Cardiff girl knocking about, same as everybody else, trying to get noticed. And we put her on a lot and worked with her a lot. And she's obviously, internationally known now and is a real, is a star in the making, really,
Yeah.
And is a proper artiste as well. Having her come back and play Buffalo Bar when she could easily have sold out Tramshed. And when McCluskey had been in touch about playing, I mean, McCluskey is a funny one because it's sort of McCluskey and it's not McCluskey. The original bassist lives in Australia and they don't talk, I don't think. I'm not sure, the singer and the bassist. But it's Andy and Julia and Jack and, when McCluskey haven't been around for 13 years.
Yeah.
But I saw McCluskey a lot. They were my favourite, they're one of the most incredible live bands that I'd ever seen. Some of the best shows I've ever seen. So when they were talking about playing this surprise show, I was really excited because I wasn't sure necessarily for me because I'd seen the original McCluskey and that's very special.
Yeah.
But I knew that there's all these people who've grown up who've never got to see McCluskey. And they loved it.
So it's sort of personal experience, you've experienced something you want others to experience the same.
Yeah, a bit. I mean, there's been a few band reunions that I've been to of bands that either I saw, and sometimes saw and perhaps underappreciated at the time, or that saw them in passing. It happens quite a lot, doesn't it? You see a band and you don't really...
Well, everyone matures as well, like not only yourself when you listen to them the first time, but obviously when you see them again and they've matured as a band and completely changed and evolved. So
yeah, absolutely. And
we're all in like states of change.
And the benefit of hindsight.
Yeah.
You know, we've done shows with people who are very well known now, but at the time they weren't well known. So you might go, oh, that was a good show, but it doesn't necessarily, you don't think, oh, I'm seeing Adele right now in this pub. You're just watching a singer. Yeah. And then later on you're trying to remember. It's always a memory is just a memory of a memory, isn't it? You're trying to so it's quite good, and so you get to see them again. And there's also, I've gone to reunions of bands that I never got to see the first time. So, seeing Neutral Milk Hotel reform a few years ago was like, I saw Jeff Mangum play, and I went to both nights and just cried, just cried the entire time. Because it was actually, not because it was just, oh wow.
Do you normally cry at gigs?
No.
Is it a regular occurrence?
I did cry today as well. So yeah,
really?
Maybe it's a theme. As I was playing, so it's a theme of. No, not normally. But Jeff Mangum was just.
Probably won't be able to tell if you're the drummer at the back. Like,
no, nobody.
Is that guy's face wet?
Nobody looks at the drummer. Exactly.
I know, they're the most underappreciated.
Quite right.
Yeah, it's sad.
There's a really good act later called Rattle, which is two drummers, two girls who play one drum kit.
Oh, right.
I'd recommend you go and see them. They're really good.
Okay, John recommends. Get that down. Yeah. What else was I going to ask? So how do you book the bands then? Is it like, obviously you were just saying that you see bands from your youth in the past and you think, oh, okay, I'd like to book them for soon.
Yeah.
Is that the basis of all of it, or are you constantly finding new music? I mean, how do you go about like booking the lineup and sorting it all out?
Well, I listen to a lot of music, and that works in many different ways about how it comes to me. You're at gigs or you're listening to the radio, following people. Do
you think the radio helps a lot? Because normally the radio is like, bigger people, but...
No, certain radio shows. I mean, I listen to Adam Walton's show on Radio Wales a lot because Adam was like a first stop for a lot of Welsh bands.
Really?
Yeah, because his job is to put 3 hours out of Welsh music every week, which is a big challenge, So there's lots of acts that I know, but then obviously if somebody's, I don't know, recording a home demo, he's one of the first people I think of, because he's got 3 hours to put out, every week. So he quite often has things before anybody else, because it's like, where do you go first?
Yeah.
And we get that sometimes. We get a band getting in touch who've just formed. There's probably a couple of people like that. So Dave Owens at the Western Mail, Wales Online, he gets people sent, because he runs he puts out a column of new music every week or 2 weeks. So bands will go, oh, maybe Adam Walton, maybe Dave. They're kind of like two things to always keep an eye on for Welsh bands.
Yeah.
And you listen through to that, and there'll always be new people, and in that sometimes there'll be someone who really catches your ear. Whether it's for now or for later, you start checking it out. And then there's people that I follow, writers, music enthusiasts, and I try and do the same back. If I hear something good, I always share it on Twitter and share the link and sort of try and feel like I don't go, oh, that's one for me. I try and kind of give that back as well for other people who are following me. Yeah. So we do a lot of that. And then agents will get in touch with new acts that they're working with. So I hear a lot through that. Cool. And again, they've got the same roots, haven't they? They're sometimes they've seen a band, or they've got a manager or a lawyer's got them, so there's all of these other filters kind of coming through, and then they'll say, here's a band I've just signed, or sometimes it'll be like, here's a band I'm looking at. Yeah. And as an agent, they might be looking at a band, but they'll put it out to a few different people, like promoters like me, and go, what do you think? And if I go, wow, these are great, and there's 4 other promoters saying the same thing, they might take them on, knowing they can get them some shows. Yeah.
Do you find it easier then if you're like in a band now, obviously?
I've only been in a band for like
I know
1 day.
Yeah, like how did this come about? Did you think, oh, we'll get together, we'll put a band together for soon, and get ourselves out there, or is it more of like a celebration of soon?
It was. I was doing a Q&A in Cardiff in February. I think it was February, and somebody said to me, "How did you get into promoting? Were you a musician, or are you a musician?" And I said, "No." And they said, if you were a musician, what would you play? And I said, the drums. And then...
Wait a minute.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Mark, had said to me that if you say something out loud, you have to do it, right? Makes you more committed. So if I was to make a promise now... Okay. So I said then and there, do you know what? because February, October looked a long way away.
Yeah.
I said, you know what, I'm going to learn the drums and I'll play at my festival this year because it's the 10th edition.
Yeah.
And then I didn't forget that, but I didn't do anything about it till about 2 months ago because it was really getting on my mind and it's like, I really need to do something about this. I can't, there was these people in the room and I just felt like, like what Mark said, I couldn't run away from it.
Yeah.
So we formed a band and then played today.
Who are your bandmates?
The guys who, it's James who works with me on the festival, and then Georgia who's been working with us. She's a freelancer, but she does all our social media.
Yeah.
James is really talented. He's a trained musician. He's toured with James Dean Bradfield and various bands, so he's great.
Yeah.
Right, he can sing and he can play guitar very well. He knows everything intuitively. Great.
Yeah.
Georgia's a good musician. She's played in a few different supported session work a little bit. And then Kieran, who does some freelance work for us and is an old friend, and he'd never played anything, so he learned bass.
Oh, nice.
And he
So
played bass.
there's two of you then.
Two of us who are complete novices.
Yeah.
So it was really lovely dynamic.
That's so in the spirit of soon,
Yeah.
sort of up and coming,
Yeah, I feel bad. We're definitely not up and we've got a long way to. But it was good. It was really good fun.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. Who are your inspirations then as a band? Have you taken any inspiration from bands that you've seen in soon? Because that would be such a cycle to go around in. I hired you and I'm taking inspiration from you because now I'm in a band.
Yeah, no, it's been. We didn't really know what sort of songs we were going to play.
Yeah.
We knew that we were going to have to do covers.
Yeah.
But then it was what covers? And it started with, I was like, well, what? I think we sort of were looking at bands who played soon. That was a sort of starting point. And we were trying H. Hawkline songs, Kate LeBond songs.
Yeah.
And then one that we got quite quickly was a Sweet Baboo song. So that felt like a good fit. But then I can't remember why, but one of us suggested, I think it was me, might have been changing, I can't even remember what the original title is now because we keep singing it, but New York I Love You by LCD Sound System into Cardiff I Love You.
Great track.
So we finished the set with Cardiff I Love You.
Oh, fantastic.
And then it ended up, we had a couple of Welsh songs, a Newell, which is an instrumental, I thought it was quite good to start with, and then a Super Furry Animals song, and then a Lemonhead song, which doesn't mean anything about the festival, but I think that between us we're quite into, I think we're getting a feel that we're quite into the kind of that Lemonheads, Pine Grove, Wilco.
Okay.
I think if we were all at a gig, that'd be one gig we'd all be at. So I think our songs had that feel. 3 of the songs had that kind of feel.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So
Have you where did you play? What?
O'Neill's today.
O'Neill's. Okay. What do you think about independent music venues? Do you think they've contributed a lot to the festival? Where would you sort of want to play? Would you want to keep it to independent music venues, or would you want to be do you know what? I want to play at stadiums.
No, we talked about where we're going to be because we thought at one point we'll open the festival, and then we thought no, that's not a good idea. That's not
Guys,
a good way.
We're fantastic.
Because
we're going to open the festival.
We thought that's we'll get it out of the way, but actually no, that could be really misunderstood. And then at some point we had the idea of why don't we go first on Sunday, because that's people are hungover,
modest,
probably not really out, so it'll bring our friends out as well, and we'll have got the hardest part of the festival over with.
Yeah.
But instantly, James used to work. He was the venue manager at Goody Who and 10 Feet Tall before he came to work for me. So he instantly ruled those two venues out.
Oh, okay.
Because he was like, I don't want to play in there because
haunting.
He knows too many people.
Yeah.
And then it just naturally, O'Neill's was it's way too big for us, but it was perfect. Really
it is such a cool venue. The whole Horizons, thing that's going on there is really positive.
Yeah. Well, we want, they want to do music, and we want them to do music, so it's a great space.
Do you have a favourite music venue in Cardiff, independent wise?
I don't
Is there anywhere
really.
that you sort of feel really attached to?
Well, yeah, Club E4 Back is the one that I've spent more time in than any other.
Yeah.
So that's
does have a massive draw.
That's a massive draw. Aesthetically, Buffalo. I love Buffalo.
Yeah. It's a really nice decor inside.
It's a really lovely space.
Yeah.
But then, you in different places, McCluskey and Himalayas and people yesterday in Moon Club, it's just perfect for them.
So it's more curating for the bands rather than oh, I really like that space, but it needs to necessarily suit you as a band.
It's got to suit the band and the audience, hasn't
Yeah.
it? You know, and yeah, you've got to.
I think that's something trickier than what people think. You know,
Yeah.
suiting a band to the venue.
Yeah. I think it's that bit's tough. Like the stuff we're doing in 4 bars today will really work because of the kind of the aesthetic.
Yeah.
And also, you know, and loads of things, you know, like Clubby for back's really well set up for acts. It's got loads of backline, good tech. Space like O'Neill's has nothing. We've taken the full production in.
Okay.
You know, so they're not set up for it. There
Yeah.
isn't, you know, they're really good over there and they've been really accommodating.
I was going to say, it
it's not
seems
part
like
of what
it
they normally
is.
do.
It looks so professional inside. It's quite surprising. You've done a really good job.
Thank you. Yeah, but they're really lovely, but they're not set up for it. So they're not like,
Yeah.
you know, Clubby for back knows that the first thing a band will be asking is, what's the Wi-Fi code? and they'll want a space that they can sit down. They have a good space
Yeah.
to sit. You know, O'Neill's or other places aren't necessarily working the same way or don't have the same resource. So the people who, you know, work in Clubby for back, a lot of them they're old tour managers and stuff, so they've toured the world. So they've made the venue respond to their life as a tour manager. So, yeah. Where can I get a cup of tea?
Yeah. Great.
That
Well,
kind of-
before we finish, what would you recommend to go see this evening?
I can't remember who's on. Rattle,
Gotcha.
definitely. These 2 girls from Nottingham, drummers. They sort of play one drum kit facing each other.
Yeah.
Sort of. They're amazing.
Like a drum battle or something.
Yeah, sort of. It's really, really interesting. It's a band called Klangstoff from Norway. It's their first UK tour.
Yeah.
First UK dates. So I haven't seen them yet, but I think all the songs that I've heard are really lovely. I think they've got some relationship to Sigur Rós or
Oh, wow.
might be the management or something like that, but they're of that,
Yeah, they've
somewhere
got
in
that
that
same
space.
feel.
Yeah, so they're really nice. Melt Yourself Down will be off the hook later.
Yeah.
That'd be really good. But so will My Name Is Ian, who's a local band
Yeah.
who I really like, who's just really special. But that's like, I'm not looking at a schedule, so that's off the top of my head.
Well, you've done very well to remember. Oh. Well, thank you very much for chatting.
Thanks for
hope
being
you have
here.
a great rest of the festival.
I will, and you too.
Thank you very much.
Take care.